Thank you for choosing ConvertaStep and for taking the time to watch this video. By the end of this video, we hope you'll be able to know more about your ConvertaStep and how to correctly install one. Your ConvertaStep is going to ship on a pallet with 2 custom-made boxes, one for your unit and one for the handrails. Tools required for installation that are not included will consist of a box cutter or similar knife, tape measure, Phillips and flat blade, small, medium, and large screwdrivers, socket and combination wrenches up to and including 3/4 inch sizes, a crescent wrench, concrete anchors, and an electric drill or hammer drill to mount the unit into concrete. The first step to installation is setting the unit. You'll want to inspect the area where the unit is to be placed. Also, inspect the electrical source to ensure you will have ample cord length to reach the nearest 110 outlet for the battery maintainer to be plugged into. Once the unit is set in the desired position, it's time to start unboxing the unit. Your unit's going to ship at the lowest setting. For this application, we have a 19 to 26 inch unit, and we're going to be adjusting it for our demo steps, which are 24 inches tall. Use a knife or box cutter to remove the straps from the boxes. Then place the handrails box safely off to the side. This is what your ConvertaStep will look like upon initial unboxing. The first thing you'll want to do when opening your ConvertaStep box is hook the ConvertaStep up to the battery. The battery is not included, but we recommend a 12-volt dual-purpose Group 24 battery from Interstate. You're also going to need a battery charger during the installation, which is also not included. Installation is going to be hard on your battery because you will be running the unit up and down many times, so the charger is important for keeping your battery fully charged. You will notice the ConvertaStep comes with a battery box. Inside that battery box, you will find your upper landing control box, the cord to connect to your 12-volt battery, front support brackets, a 1.5 amp battery maintainer, a bag of bolts to connect the front support brackets and handrails, and your ConvertaStep manuals. Once installation is complete, you will hook up the provided battery maintainer to your battery and place both the battery and maintainer in the provided battery box and leave it off to the side in its desired location. The keys for your control switches are on the ring terminals, so you'll need to take that off when connecting your battery. Right now we're going to hook up the battery and your charger during installation. You can set the maintainer and the battery box off to the side, and we'll use that later once installation is complete. Remember, it is very important to have a full charge on your battery to ensure the unit runs properly. Also, be sure to connect the battery to the unit properly to prevent damage to the unit and battery. You're going to want to have at least 2 people when getting the ConvertaStep out of the box and off the pallet. The best way to get the unit out of the box is to break the box down, raise the unit up a little bit, and have 2 people carry it off to the side. Once you have the unit raised up, you're going to want to unplug the battery before lifting it off of the pallet. Remove the box and pallet from in front of the steps and place the ConvertaStep back in the desired position about 4 to 6 inches away from the steps. Remove both outside panels to give you easier access to the actuators. When removing the side panels, I like to remove the top outside screws last and have someone hold the panel so it doesn't drop on the ground. Once the panel is removed, place it in a safe location where it won't be scratched or damaged. Before we go any further with installation, I want to go over a few important details of the unit to familiarize yourself with it before you attempt an install for yourself. As you know, the ConvertaStep is an inclined platform lift, and it's designed to lift up and over your set of steps to your desired landing, which will be set by your upper limit. The ConvertaStep is constructed of powder-coated steel and it operates by 2 ball screw drive actuators. Your unit is completely assembled upon delivery with no additional drilling to the frame necessary. And the platform decking is a marine-grade polymer sheet. Your ConvertaStep is going to come with 1 ball screw drive actuator on each side. Some important parts to know are the jam nut, the actuator clevis, and the inner tube. The inner tube is what moves in and out of the actuator. Twisting of the inner tube is what is going to adjust your upper limit. The jam nut is what locks in the placement of your upper limit. Loosening of the jam nut will allow you to make adjustments in the inner tube, which will change your upper limit. The actuator clevis is a means of attaching the actuator to the linkage. The last thing you need to understand about the unit is the upper limit. There is a traveler inside the actuator that moves in sync with the actuator, and when it comes in contact with the internal limit switch, it communicates to the controller and tells the unit to shut off. Now that you understand the basics of the unit and how they work, it's time to dive back into installation. The first step of installation is going to be adjusting the arms for your correct height. Ideally, you will want your unit to be a little taller than your desired landing when the arms are vertical. This will allow you to have your upper limit set to a point when the arms are past vertical and the unit is descending. You will want to have the arms completely vertical when making any adjustments to the height. The vertical positioning of the arms takes the load off of the linkages and allows for easier adjustments. For this situation, we will want to raise our unit about 1 inch to be above our desired landing when the arms are vertical. To adjust the arms, you will do 1 arm at a time and 1 notch at a time. It is important to be sure that you never have any of the arms more than 1 notch above another. After adjusting your first arm, Rotate around the unit, making your height adjustments until the desired height is achieved. You may need to take multiple trips around the unit in order to reach your desired height. Be sure to never adjust an arm more than one notch at a time. Your arm adjustment is now complete. Our platform is currently 25 inches high with the arms vertical, allowing for a smooth transition onto our 24-inch steps. Having the unit hit your desired landing on the descent rather than the rise of the unit allows for a softer impact with the landing and proper activation of the front ramp and front support brackets. The next step of installation is setting your upper limit. To set the upper limit, you'll want to start by running the unit to its current limit. Before adjusting your upper limit, position the unit a few inches away from your desired landing. Right now, we're at our upper limit, and the unit won't move any farther forward, but we need to go about a couple more inches forward to hit our desired landing. So we're going to need to make an adjustment to the upper limit. To do that, we're going to first loosen the jam nut. To move the unit forward, we're going to twist the inner tube about 5 times on this side, making the same number of turns on the other side. You should see the actuator getting longer or shorter depending on which way you need the unit to move. Try to keep your turns small and similar to one another, taking measurements prior to going to the opposite side to adjust. You will want to be sure your actuators are exactly the same length when the adjustments are complete, but it is highly recommended to measure often during the adjusting process. You will need to be sure that the actuator outer tube is never covering the flat of the inner tube. The flat should be entirely visible at all times. This is a visible flat. This is not. Once you've made your adjustments to the actuators and you're hitting your upper landing and the front gate is deploying properly, you'll want to measure both of your actuator lengths to be sure they're equal. The unit has a PLC on it that is going to count the strokes of each actuator and be sure that the unit stays synchronized and stays level and one actuator doesn't get ahead of the other. So as long as you measure from pin to pin and make sure each actuator is the same length when you're at your upper limit, the unit will stay synced the entire time and stay level during the entire travel. In order to measure, you want to measure with the measure tape from the outside of both of these mounting pins. And then go to the other side to make sure you have the same measurement. Now we're going to head to the front of the unit to attach the front bumper brackets. The front bumper bracket is used to deploy the front roll stop ramp. Because of the name, it might be easy to confuse with the front support brackets, but in appearance, they are easy to tell apart. Although the front bumper bracket is already attached to the unit, you will need to position it to the proper height in order to meet the step landing correctly. Doing this is key to the front roll stop ramp landing properly. When attaching the front support brackets, you should have the unit in the up position with the front roll stop ramp deployed. You will then attach the brackets so that they slightly rest on the upper landing when there is no weight on the unit. These brackets will help the unit rest on the landing when weight is added to it. Feed the wires through the middle hole and connect them to their corresponding colored wire. This will allow your mounted control switch to function. Once you've applied the handrails, your installation is complete. Check all of your adjustments one more time before anchoring the unit. And remember, do not have any weight on the unit until it is anchored into the ground. Once you've anchored and you've checked everything one more time, reapply your fenders and you're good to go. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and learn a little more about your ConvertaStep and how to install it. If you have any questions at all, refer to your installation guide and do not hesitate to contact a ConvertaStep representative.